Welcome, my beautiful sensitive beings. I'm so glad that you are here. Today, we've got to talk about a deeper, sort of darker subject, but somebody's got to do it, and I'm it. Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Marcia Martin, the heart healer, and today the angels are with us to talk about depression. Now, when we have the angelic realm, they don't just inform us of a condition and let us sit, they help us go beyond. So, we're going to step out of that place where you might be feeling small, depressed, overwhelmed, and into the place where you are feeling empowered. Now, remember, your authentic self is never small or weak or overwhelmed. So the angels are not doing something magical, they're merely helping you get in touch with who you really are. So open your hearts. Let's welcome in the angelic realm and see what we're dealing with. So, first, let's take a look at what depression really is. How do we get there? What can we do about it? And who can help? I think it's so important that we remember that no matter what we may be facing here in our physical world, there is angelic support. And life becomes so much easier when we have support. And I know I tell that every week, constantly harping about how you should or why you should call on the angels. But I've just got to tell you, my life has gone from overcomplicated to beautifully simple because I don't try to think of everything at once. I have this team of helpers that point me continuously in a direction that is going to be most effective for me. And that's what they'll do with you. You just have to learn to work with them, establish a friendship, and keep engaging. It is definitely a friendship, and friendships wither if they are not attended to. So make sure you invite the angels into every aspect of your life. And now let's get started on depression. So when I looked up depression so that we would all have the same same definition, I think I went on Healthline or some one of those sites. They say it's a mood disorder that gives you feelings of sadness, loss, anger, and it usually means that it is so intense that it's interfering with your daily life. And you are constantly in a state where you are feeling blue and you're unable to shake the melancholy. This doesn't mean you went to your car and it didn't start and you had a bad day. This is the state of being that actually interferes with your quality of life. So you may just be going through the motions, but not receiving any joy. And we need to remember too that depression has different levels. And anytime that you are going for long periods of time without feeling joy. Now, joy is different from laughter and moments of happiness. Joy is that constant state. We have our visitor today. Joy is that constant state of feeling good. Joy doesn't have a lot of highs and lows. Joy is just I just feel good more than I feel bad or more than I feel anything. And that's what we want to make sure that you have as highly sensitive beings. You are going to pick up from the world around you. And if you don't have that strong foundation, you can be on a roller coaster of emotions. So, depression is not a natural state. And one of the reasons that we know this, first of all, Of course, there's been lots and lots of research, and we know that something's out of order. But if we want to see what is our natural state, look at children. Are children depressed? Unless something is seriously wrong. There are very few children, especially children under 5, who are depressed. They have a moment where things aren't going well, and they express that moment and move on. So we want to return to our childlike state when we can express that something may be not going the way we wanted it to and move quickly back into the state of joy where we are really able to live a life that feels good. When you feel good, your world is affected, and the world of everyone you interact with is also affected. So it's perfectly okay to have moments of sadness or just moments when you don't feel your best. It's just when it becomes a pattern. What you go to sleep and you wake up feeling that same depressed place. That's not healthy or good for you. And the other thing about depression, and when you know you may be depressed, is when you feel stuck. Even if you were to have all the answers, you would feel like you just can't motivate yourself to take whatever action it is you need to take in order to get a different outcome. So, how do we get here? If it's this place that's not natural to us, if it's something that is really causing us to stay stuck, how in the heck are we getting there? It's never instantaneous. It builds up slowly, and we get used to over time taking less and less, becoming less and less satisfied, and becoming more and more defeated. You may feel that this has just become your natural state. It's not your natural state, but you may have experienced it and then practiced being in this state for so long that you don't know what anything else feels like. So it's almost as though the state is being reinforced by the lack of other things that are happening that would give you joy in your life. And so it may take somebody outside of you mentioning to you, gosh, you don't seem very happy lately. Don't be offended if somebody were to say to you, are you okay? Instead, that can be your call to action. Hey, what's going on in my life that I've allowed myself to sort of fall into this pattern where I never really feel good? So, depression is an indication that you may have fallen out of love with yourself. You may no longer have a healthy sense of esteem. And you may find that your environment is reinforcing all of this. So you go to school and you don't find you're popular, or you're not doing well because you're not motivated to doing the studying, or you're at a job and it's a very lackluster job because you just couldn't get the enthusiasm or the belief in yourself to go look for the job that would really feel good to you. And your family and peers may also be reflecting this because you've just fallen into this kind of habit of not looking or feeling joy. And I do find that depression can be the end result of trauma. Now, remember, I have said to you on many occasions that trauma is not necessarily something one and done. You had a violent episode or something that really changed your life happened, and you can't move past that particular episode. often trauma can be a slow wearing away. You get in a relationship, and this is true of narcissistic relationships in particular. You get into a relationship that is not healthy or fulfilling, and you're in it and can't quite figure out how to get out, and you just slowly wear down from your beautiful, ebullient self, and you get used to being less than. So perhaps it trauma or this decline into depression happens because you got a bad grade and it really kind of made you feel badly about yourself, or you're doing poorly at sports, or you get made fun of or bullied, and you just don't have the understanding of how you can get yourself out of it, or you don't have any support from your family or other people that could help you move beyond this. Or perhaps you begin seeing yourself as less than because of any of these incidents. You start seeing yourself as, gosh, maybe I don't have a lot to offer. And you begin thinking of yourself as incapable, and pretty soon, law of attraction is going to give you the result that you are expecting. Remember, law of attraction is our boomerang. You begin seeing yourself as less than. Law of attraction goes out with this understanding of, gee, I'm less than. And coming back to you are events, people, and other ways in which that misbelief, that misaligned belief, is going to come back and try to convince you, yeah, you really don't have a lot to offer. So make sure that your thoughts are not in alignment with what's wrong, what's lacking, and all of the ways that you need to do better. If you don't have a support system, here in the chat, I've put our Facebook group. You are never alone. The angels are always with you. If you need some hands on support, go to that Facebook group. It is absolutely free. You are going to be inspired by other people who are putting content in there. You are welcome to put content of your own, or just to reach out and say, gosh, I could really use some help. I'm feeling, and then whatever it is that you're feeling. So don't let no immediate support system keep you in that depressive state, because that Facebook group can help you. And as always, there is our community, My Heart's Desire, and you can join for as little as $11.11 a month. The other reason that you may fall into depression is that you don't have a strong personal foundation. This means you need to go into the heart and do that work. Get out of everybody else's lane. Just stay working on you. Or you may be experiencing constant upheaval in your life. This is more difficult to fix. What I would suggest, instead of immediately trying to go after, how can I create stability? First, feel good about yourself so you will be motivated to do the necessary changes that will mean that your life settles down. And it can come, depression can come because you're being berated by adults or authority figures. Again, if you are in a situation like this, I am going to suggest very strongly that you join our Facebook group and be supported. Nobody in that group is going to put you down or be offensive to you in any way. It may not be possible for you to get away from those authority figures or berating adults, but you can go somewhere else free of charge and get supported. You can also drop into depression if you are constantly belittled, and this can happen because of your peers. Again, the only answer, if you cannot get away from those people, is to go someplace where you are supported. Don't sit there and just say, I'm a prisoner and I can't move. You have groups like this particular Facebook group that I'm sharing with you, and other inspirational groups, and you have angelic support. Angelic support does not take any kind of moving to a different place or my Evan, love you too. Angelic support doesn't ever say, hey, you're not good enough. Angelic support says, gosh, let us help you see you as you truly are. Because they see you in your authentic state, they see you in your perfection. And they're going to hold a mirror up for you that shows you yourself as they see you, and that will help. I am suggesting this Facebook group so that you have some support that you can actually see in front of you. It is real people that are willing to say, hey, I think you're amazing. So now, what can you do about it? Well, I kind of went into that already, but let's look at all that you are and all that is available to you. So remember, if you have chosen to wake up at this time, to become more, to expand yourself, and to say, okay, I'm going to hold the heart of the world. I'm going to love all of the people in the world. You are a luminary. You are magnificent just because you have chosen that particular role. But it also means you might be experiencing some isolation because not everyone in your family, your community, your peer group, they may not see things the way you do. So you have to reach out to other people that do. So, one of the things that I have found to be the most effective across my life, whether I was dealing with depression and didn't understand how to move myself out of that, or whether I'm here where I am now in my feeling good place. But one of the things that helped me in every aspect of my life, being a sensitive being, is to be an observer. Watch all of the other people and look for times when you can build someone else up. Maybe you don't feel good about you, but you can quietly observe other people. And when you see them doing something that's amazing, tell them about it. Make a big deal of that other person. It's going to lift you up. You can't say to someone, wow, that is so magnificent. I'm just so impressed or amazed or delighted by what you did. You can't say to another person, you are magnificent without feeling good about yourself. So I'm not asking you to lead the convention and go give speeches everywhere. You can, if you're introverted, you can be very quiet. And when it's appropriate, say to someone, wow, you're so beautiful, or you're really magnificent. And you will feel your own heart opening up. Now, I am going to ask you to ignore the darkness and redirect all of your attention toward the light. If you are looking for dark, if you are looking for what's wrong, if you are looking to be hurt, you will find all of that. If you are looking to the light, if you are looking to find people to uplift, and if you are looking to feel better, you will find that. And Evan, oh, You know all this stuff, my beautiful Evan. It's always the right time for us to join. And if you missed something amazing, the angels will just share it with you. Now, Evan and I have worked together, and he happens to be really great at communicating with the angels. And so he and I can joke about all of the synchronicities. You're always here at the right time. The angels will always make sure that you are getting the information that you need. But he can do this because he's put the work in. So if you have yet to develop your relationship with the angels, now is the right time to start. Now, it's something that I want to make sure that you understand is don't waste your time wondering if the angels are real, if any of this is going to work out, or if something is an act. So, you might have to say, um, gosh, I see so and so. Let's just pick on Susie today. I see Susie, and she's in a really dark place. And I don't know if I should bother to lift her up. What if I'm wasting my energy? Or, what if Susie really isn't in a bad place? Who cares? It doesn't matter whether Susie is acting depressed for attention or whether she is seriously depressed, because the one that's going to get benefit by coming in and being uplifting and being motivational and inspirational to another person is you. Remember, the only energy that you can control is your own. The only energy that you are absolutely certain you're going to receive is all of that which you are generating within yourself. If somebody else, let's pick on Susie again, if Susie is generating dark energy, I can choose not to receive that. If Susie is generating loving, light, uplifting energy, I can also choose not to receive that. I don't want to because that's going to help me. But just stay in your own lane. What would feel good to you? I have found over the years that being kind and loving to another person has never failed to uplift me, to make me feel better, to make me feel that I have value in the world. So if that is true for you, then don't worry. Is the other person faking? Just add more love into the world and you will always be rewarded because you're going to feel better. And now Evan said, yes. Thank you, Evan. Excellent point. I'm not going to read the whole question. Instead, I'm just going to answer it. There are going to be times when you feel depressed, when you feel low, when you feel worthless. That is never an indicator that the angels are off helping somebody who they like better. There will never come a time when the angels have left you. You can reduce your connection. When your heart is clear, when your heart is healed, when you have really worked on your alignment with the divine, your connection is going to be huge. But if you are in that depressive state, that connection is barely functioning. It's like clogged arteries, they're telling me right now. You got to clear out your arteries so that your heart can beat fully and strongly. They are going to be with you if you are lost in the darkness or running in the sunshine. Of course, we're all going to have a better time running in the sunshine, but the angels don't desert you because you're having a bad day. You've chosen to close off. It's okay. Some days we just can't handle that or just need that time. Don't stay in this place for any longer than you absolutely have to. As soon as you are able, start looking for what's right. Start expanding that connection again, because that's when life becomes really easy. And when I'm talking easy, I'm talking about from the most complex, what should I share with you today, to the most mundane. You need to check the temperature on the dryer. Do you think they care about whether my clothes get dry? Yes. And they've saved me all of that aggravation of coming back and realizing, oh, the dryer was on a low setting and nothing got dry. This can only happen for you if you have a wide open place in which they can communicate with you. There's a lot of noise in the world. You're not going to be able to shut out all the noise, but you can create a connection that is so wide that you will easily be able to hear them even in the midst of all of the noise. So you got to trust them and um, just depend on your angelic helpers. Don't waste your time worrying about any of the, oh, I can't see them, so they're not here. Don't put your energy in a place where it is just going to wear you down. Instead, put your energy in the place where you're going to get the most benefit. And I guarantee you that if you say to yourself, I have helpers that I may not be able to see, but I'm going to trust that they will be able to get me the direction, the message, the support, whatever it is that I need when I need it, as long as I'm open. If you have that mindset, you're going to do incredibly well and be supported. But now let's go back for a minute to a person that may be depressed and you're thinking, oh, well, what if they're faking? Or how can I help? I'm nobody. There's always something that you can do. And as I said, when you do for others, you do for yourself. And if you are in a depressed state and you are helping someone else, it is really going to help you feel better about you. So, when you encounter another person that is having a low moment, you treat them as though they're healthy. Expect participation. Don't act like, oh, they don't matter or they're not worthy. Don't mention their problems. We don't need to talk about what's wrong. There is somebody down the block that will remind them of everything that's wrong. Don't be that person. Keep focused on what's right, even if what's right is, even it isn't it lovely that the weather isn't as hot today? Or did you see that beautiful bird? It doesn't have to be a meaningful conversation. You are not going to solve all of the problems of the world. It has to be an uplifting conversation focused on what's right. And sometimes what's right can be very mundane because that's where you are, and that's okay. Don't take it personally, though, if the depressed person is responding to you in monosyllables or not at all. They're just in a tough place. And don't be the therapist. You don't have to fix them, especially if they don't want to be fixed at this time. You don't want to get caught in that advice loop. You keep trying to give and give and give some more, and they don't want to do anything or move from that place. It's okay. They're not ready, but you can sprinkle in upbeat thoughts, upbeat ideas, inspiration, and not ever mention their problem or how you can help them. You don't want to be there to help them. You just want to be there to support them in finding their own help. And it's important too that you find legitimate things that they do well. So if somebody were to come up to me, if I'm in a depressed state, now I am really proud of how well I do on the computer. Nobody's ever going to hire me to be a programmer. I don't function in that way. So if somebody were to come to me when I was depressed and say, "Oh, I really admire the way that you can do coding on the computer," I'll be like, "What? That doesn't feel like a compliment. That feels more like an insult because my skills are not so great in that area. Can I change the color of a font? Yeah, sometimes. That's about it." I mean, in the coding world, not with the do it yourself, do it for you. So choose something that they do well that is legit. Don't make things up because they're going to read right through you, and that's not going to feel good. And when you are having conversations with yourself when you're depressed, I want you to do the same thing. I want you to have a list of things that you do well, that you've prepared well in advance. And I want you to read down that list over and over and over again. Go make sure that you have groups, online groups and in person groups where you can go and be inspired. You're not going to be able to do this on your own. We are social beings for a reason. And you are going to need to lean on different people from time to time, and they're going to need to lean on you. So allow your network to support you. If you are depressed, you have an incorrect view of yourself. You have the expectation of being a failure. This is why you need to supplement what you're seeing and the self talk that you are having with that list that you've prepared in advance, either by yourself or with the help of someone else that really admires you, so that you can read that list and get back on track. You may have failed. I'm the queen of failure. I have failed so many times, it doesn't even bother me anymore. It's just like, oh, well, that didn't work. Try again. But in the past, when I had failed, I didn't have any ability to pick myself back up. I had no list of my good qualities. I had no support group that wanted to see me get myself back on my feet. And I had no angelic communication going on. So once I failed, it took a really long time to get over the failure because I kept holding on to this incorrect view of myself that supported my dialogue, my inner talk that said I really had limited value and uh, limited worth in the world. And I didn't have the expectation to win. So if you see that you've gotten yourself in this loop of, well, I failed. Oh, I failed again. Oh, there's nothing worthy about me. Oh, I don't have anything of value to offer. You do not expect to win. You expect to keep going on the failure cycle. So you can't just keep doing the same things that you're doing. You have to step over into another place, have your list, or make it on index cards and have a different index card every couple of minutes if you need to. And make sure that you are reading it. If a list feels overwhelming, just put one thing up that says, I am magnificent, then I am worthy, then I am valuable. Start interacting with that truth of your authentic being so that you will really be able to break out of this loop and get going down Success Alley. The angels are going to help you with that because they won't participate in this. They'll just keep pushing you over into the other space. Now, when you are depressed, you are absolutely out of alignment with the truth. You are not in alignment with the divine. So don't even spend your time, waste your breath saying, I'm in alignment. I'm just not feeling happy today. No, you're out of alignment. So you are not understanding that you're a divine being, that you are safe and loved, that you always have something of value to offer, that you are hardwired for growth, success, expansion, and happiness. And most importantly, you cannot be lacking anything that is necessary for you to be successful on your life journey. This includes birth defects. Let's say that I am born with no hands. That does not mean that I am going to be unsuccessful because I didn't bring hands with me on this journey. It means that I'm excited to discover all of the ways that I can live my life without having to use my hands. So please don't tell yourself a lie that says, well, if I had been born into a rich family, I would be okay. You were born into the family that will best support your journey. It was your choice. You may not like the choice once you get here, but I guarantee you that if you stop looking at what's wrong and say, okay, what do I have? What can motivate me? What can I use? You're going to find a way forward that is going to be so much more inspirational and so much more fun than if you were born with hands or into a family that had a lot of money. This is the challenge you signed up for. Don't waste your time in regret. Get excited. Okay, whoa, look at this. I've really given myself an interesting challenge. What can I do with it? Call on the angels for help and support with that. You see, they always see the big picture. They're not limited by our little tunnel vision. So they're never going to be in the energetic realm saying, oh, he chose not to have hands. They're going to be, rah, rah, let's get going. Let's see what you can create, what you can experience from this place. You have to also remember, and this is always going to be true, that your presence in the world is making a difference. And you can't make a choice so terrible that you will separate from the divine. The most you can do is make your connection small, but you cannot cut off that connection. I don't care what choices you are making, and people have made horrendous choices. We still remain in the heart of the divine. We do not have the good communication because you've chosen to limit it, but you're still safe and secure in that place. No matter what you have done, everybody returns to the energetic state. And you're here by choice. You didn't come too early. You didn't come too late. Your life is not a mistake. And there's no reason for you to feel badly about that or anything. And the most important thing you need to remember is that you are a powerful creator. So let's take a look at this thing called creation. Creation doesn't happen just because you have a lot of random thoughts running through your mind. Creation happens when your thoughts and your emotions team up and you start paying attention and repeating the sequence. So I can think about having a car accident once every 50 years, and it's unlikely that I'm going to have a car accident. However, if every time I get into my car, I turn on the engine, I freeze up and say, "What if I have an accident? What if I have an accident?" And I keep thinking that while I am driving, I am absolutely putting myself on the trajectory for an accident to happen. You are a powerful creator. You may not be creating what you want. That's your fault. That is not the fault of the law of attraction. If I am thinking about an accident every time I get in my car and step on the gas, I am saying, show me where there's an accident I can get into. If I don't want to have an accident, I can think about how great it is that I'm a wonderful driver, how wonderful it is that uh, uh, I never have an accident. I don't want to use the word accident though. So, gang, how great it is that the highways, the roads, that everything is always clear when I'm driving, that all of the other drivers seem to be really alert and really good drivers as well. So you're a powerful creator, but the action and the thought and the emotion must be repeated. You've got to get attached to it. You've got to pay attention to it over and over and over again. And there has to be some reaction in you. You decide what you're going to bring to fruition. As I said, I can think about, what if I have a car accident once every 50 years? And it's very unlikely that I am actually going to engage with that. But if I do that every single time, I'm just saying, oh, insurance company, I'm going to be needing you in a minute. So you direct your manifestation. Be so present to what you are doing that you are not directing yourself down the alley of what is not wanted. Everyone, and there are no exceptions, everyone is a powerful manifester. You have to be a powerful manifester in order to be in this physical world. So you never need to learn how to manifest. What you may need to learn is how to manifest what is desired as opposed to what isn't desired. So you want to learn how to direct your thoughts, get better at being in charge of your mind instead of letting your mind be in charge of you. And don't have these long periods of time where your mind is wandering and you don't check in. Make sure that you are always checking in with what you are allowing to circulate through your mind. Now, if you're daydreaming, it's unlikely that you're going to manifest from that place because you're not really attaching to it. But if you find that every time you daydream about something that is unwanted, a fear that you have not addressed, now you are starting to repeat, and now it is starting to gain traction, and now it is likely that you're going to interact with it. And Evan says, oh, Audrey, I thought that was Evan. You're so sweet. I love you too, Audrey. She says, please like the show. Yes, please do. It really does help. So, guys, now I kept telling you about the helpers. And remember, depression is nothing to be ashamed of. We all have times when life has just gone into the toilet and you just need a minute to say, oh, ouch. Oh my gosh, this is terrible. What the heck is going on here? What is going on? I don't want this. Give yourself that time. Just don't make that your habit. If something happened and it didn't go well, You need to process that. But then, as soon as you are able, you need to start looking at what you can be doing instead. If you keep saying, oh, poor me, poor me, poor me, all right, things didn't go well. I get it. But there are no answers in the poor me place. When I lived my life every day in depression, I was looking for, oh, what else is going to go wrong? Oh, of course I have this crappy job. Oh, of course I can't pay this bill. Oh, of course there's something else that I don't know how to deal with. And I never moved myself into the lane of empowerment until I was so lost in the darkness that I just was like, oh, I can't take anymore. I can't do this anymore. I just hate myself. I hate my life. I don't have any answers. And I'm done. Because I had children, suicide was not an option. I flirted with the idea, but I couldn't be serious about it because my children needed my support. So they were the catalyst for me to say, get your head out of your butt and find a different direction. You got to do something different. This isn't working. Now, next week, we're going to talk about suicide and what it is and what we need to do in order to address it. But if you stay in that depressed state long enough, you are going to start entertaining the idea of suicide. But we have two helpers that can really support us, and they are Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael. These two often team up to work together. They are extremely powerful, but note this, even though they are incredibly powerful, they will never come to you and say, oh, you are an idiot. Do you see what you did? Do you see how stupid you've been all these years? They could have, they have many opportunities to be able to say that to me. They have, I've said that to me. They have never said anything to me other than, we can do this together. We'll help you. We've got the answers. We're going to support you. We're going to show you the way out. They won't do it for you, they'll do it with you. So, Archangel Michael, fabulous, always comes to me huge, like 11 feet high, and usually on the in blue. I know the colors sometimes can change, but Archangel Michael comes to me blue and always with that powerful sword. It is the sword of truth. He is going to cut right through that nonsense you are telling yourself or the world is telling you and show you the truth. What is the truth? The truth is you are a magnificent being. You are safe and loved. You are a powerful creator. Now, it also may be true, oh, you failed. Okay, but you failed at this thing. You didn't fail at being you. So he's going to help you separate from the toxicity of the negative self talk, the negative world talk, wherever it is or whatever it is that you're needing to engage with. He's going to help you move away from that. And then Archangel Raphael, who is on the green ray, and I think it's so beautiful that Archangel Raphael, who is the healer, his name is God, means God heals. Archangel Michael's name means he who is like God. I don't know why I always forget his direct name, but isn't it magnificent that the angels always have in their name a quality that helps you know why you should call upon them? So Archangel Michael, with this powerful sword. He who is like God comes in to separate you from all of the lies that you've heard or that you've told yourself and says, hey, God vision says you're magnificent. Now, try to be depressed when somebody is saying to you, you're magnificent. And I know the truth, and I speak for God, and I see as God sees. Pretty hard to say I am a puny nothingness when the creator, the supreme being who made all things, is telling you you have great value. So now, Archangel Raphael on the green ray, and green is the color of the heart chakra and unconditional love. And it never ceases to amaze me the beauty of the divine, that they would put healing and unconditional love together in the same package. So anytime you wonder, oh, does God want me to be well? Is it okay for me to ask for healing? Remember that unconditional love, which is the signature of the divine, is the same color as the angel who is in charge of healing. Healing not just your physical body, but your emotional and mental bodies as well. And this includes your pets. Archangel Ariel will help more with pets. Archangel Raphael, sort of, but there are healers for pets as well. Don't worry though, if you don't know which angel to call on, just ask them for the thing that you need, and the one that is right for you will come forward. So, Archangel Raphael and Archangel Michael are going to separate you from that state of depression that makes you believe that you are not enough, that you are somehow unworthy, and that you have nothing of value to share. If you have found yourself in that place, don't criticize yourself. You don't need any more of that. That's not going to help things get better. Instead, call on Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael and ask them to show you the truth about you. Just say, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Michael, oh, I'm feeling really depressed, really sad, really lonely, whatever it is. I need to see me as you see me. I need to see who I really am. Do I have any value to share? If I do, could you show me what that value is? I'm having a hard time accessing it. Don't be afraid to speak to them from your heart. You can pretend that you're feeling great and over the top with joy, but they see right through it. They read energy, they speak energy. So you're not going to get away with trying to tell them, oh, I'm doing great, when you're really feeling icky and you really need help. And just before we have to go, I'm going to share with you a story that I shared before. I think I had, for whatever reason, watch the news more than I usually do. Usually I just go get headlines and kind of need to move on quickly. And for whatever reason, I allowed myself to get immersed in it. And this went on for a couple of days. And maybe it was just so I would have this incredible story to share. But after a couple of days, I was out walking and I really, truly felt as though there were gray clouds above me, and it was an overcast day, so my gray clouds and the sky's gray clouds were matching, and it was as though I was wading through water with cement shoes. I felt so heavy, so overwhelmed, so incapable of making a difference in the world, and just incapable of moving my own self. I didn't even feel like I could make my own life work for whatever reason. And I remember probably a couple of blocks into my walk, just kind of coming up against the fact of I I I don't have any more to give. I'm up against it. I have come up against that wall of defeat. And I got a choice. I got to figure out what I can do. Well, the only thing I know to do is immediately go to my helpers. So I reached out to Mother God and I just said, I need help. I let myself really get overwhelmed by the news of the world, and I'm drowning. I am drowning in this sense of darkness. And I just took a breath and looked up into heaven and said, I need help. I remember walking a little way. I could breathe a little easier immediately. I turned the corner and I repeated it again. I need help. I'm going to open to your help. I recognize I need help. I'm taking responsibility for how I got here. I'm opening my heart to receive. I'm walking a little, and now I'm going up a hill. And as I'm going up the hill, all of a sudden I'm able to take this deep breath. The sky opens. The sun comes right down on where I am standing or where I am walking. And birds that have been silent up until this time begin to sing. I spent the rest of my walk weeping with joy, not because I felt sorry for myself any longer, but because I was so delighted to be blessed to such a degree that they would change the physical area that I was in to show me that I was so loved that nothing was going to prevent them from coming to my assistance. You are no different from me. You are so loved. They will move heaven and earth to help you see how valuable, how important, and how worthy you are. As I said earlier, if you are really suffering, join our Healing Hearts Facebook group. The link is here. Audrey is an admin. You are going to really be uplifted and supported. You are not alone. And learn to call on your angelic helpers. They will never come at you with negativity, but they will help you release the negativity that has led to your depression. And now I got to go. Thanks so much, everyone. I so appreciate you all. And please join us in our group and bring your inspiration. You're important, and I know you have something of value to share. But first, take whatever you need to be lifted up. We want to support you. So, thanks, everyone. Sending you all my love.